G'day guys, welcome to Rumble's Fish Room. Old Johnny boy's been waiting for a while. Hey, we've got a different catchphrase from John. G'day from you know where instead of the middle of nowhere. It sounds similar but different. So I don't know if you noticed in the videos, but I think I've got the vid again. There is a chance it's not the vid, but probably about 8 to 10 of my close contacts on the weekend just gone had the vid, so I think I'm just not testing positive yet, but I'm not going. I did test yesterday and I ran out, and I just can't be bothered spending $50 again. It is what it is. So I got some new fish. I didn't take many photos. I got back into Clash of Clans and I was doing a battle and then I realised the countdown timer ran out. So, yeah. 3 days until my dragon finishes. I haven't played this for like 2 years and I remember why. It's because unless you spend money on it, you have to like wait a whole week to do one upgrade. But yeah, I think my plan is to maybe, I don't know. It's a waste of time really, isn't it? I'll keep it going, I guess. What happened to the tunes? They're gone. I think it's going to be a bit of a mellow stream, guys. Like I said, I'm not feeling the best. So I got some new guppies, we'll call them. We're calling them guppies. From Dan's Fish Room. What a legend. I just can't go into detail, but yeah, if you check out Dan's Fish Room on the socials, he's building a cool fish room. I think he's slowed down a bit at the moment. He's got some very neat racking. But yeah, so we got some blue bolt guppies and orange-eyed guppies with also a blue body. They may even be endlers. Yes, maybe they're endlers. And then there was a surprise in there, which I don't... They're yellowy orange guppies, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. They were a surprise. I've got a story, guys. I got some new fish last night, and the story's funny. I don't know... Morley Aquariums isn't a sponsor of the channel, but Paul is just a legend. Like, I love that bloke. And I just had the funniest experience in the shop last night at Morley Aquariums. So I'll share that in about, what's the time? It won't be long, because I want to keep the stream reasonably short. Yeah, that's because I feel shit. We're on Wi-Fi, so I don't know if it's any good. But I've got the PowerPoint. Well, it's not power. It's kind of like power, but it has data. And I've got like the cable to run through the roof, and I've got a switch in my roof, if you know what a switch is, and I just need to drill a hole in the wall and get the snake off my brother-in-law, snake it up. But in the meantime, I stole the Wi-Fi card out of my work computer, which it doesn't matter because all of the work computers are a cable. The only thing I did realise is my work computer had Bluetooth. The card is the Bluetooth, so now my work computer doesn't have Bluetooth. But I don't know, this day and age I just email shit to myself. How's the prawns doing? I hope they last in the freezer. So the prawns got put in the freezer Sunday night, and then the freezer got lost in the post. Well, not lost, you know what the post is like at the moment, especially with a bulky item like a freezer. So the freezer got put into the post Monday morning, and then express post with a tracking number. zero updates until this morning. And it didn't even say getting delivered today. It just said in Bibra Lake, which is like close to me. I've had a package in Bibra Lake and it not come to me. Bibra Lake is like 35 seconds that way. I can get on my push bike and ride there in less than 3 minutes, and it took like 3 days for a package to get from there to my house. Or did I tell you about the package? Welshpool. If you know Welshpool, it's like the arrival facility of packages. And I had a package at Welshpool for like, I think it was 6 weeks. I bet like there was actually a problem, but John loves blue dream guppies. So I'll tell you a story. I already said his name at the start, but anyway, said person went to send me orange eye blue guppies, and I said, like, I'm not too worried about the quality, like, they're just for a bit of a display. Obviously, they're not going on the YouTube channel, and it's fun. So, next minute, he's sending me culls from his Royals. Like, just like, that's too nice. I want a crappy low grade, or not low grades, but I knew the quality that he had, his culls would be good. But anyway, so now I've got royal culls instead of just standard culls. And then the blue bolts, I don't know whether he got them from culls or good ones, but man, buried females like this big, guppies that are like 2.5 centimeters, biggest guppies I've ever seen. Alright, so I'm gonna have to show you. Wait, the game's opening. Hang on. Oh. Nah, I'm gonna show you on the screen. I mean on the phone, on the screen. Alright. Also, the other problem is the tank has a red, blue, green light on it, and I've put white fish in the tank, so they're actually red in the photo. Viha Argenta. Is it Argenta? Somebody type in the pronunciation. Oh, I'm dying. So I'm gonna feel bad because I can't remember his name. I think it's Hans that works at Morley. So I went to pick up the fish from Morley. It was quite late. It was like 8 o'clock on a Thursday night. The police were out the front dealing with people. I was in my Starlet, and I was like, I'm gonna get a yellow sticker in this situation. And so my heart rate was racing as I walked in the door, just to set the scene. Anyway, I walked in. I think it's Hans. Hans? Correct me if I'm wrong, if you know his correct name. I've known him for like 10 years, but I just can't remember his name. Anyway, so I walk in and I was like, I'm here to pick up the Argenta, and he's like, yeah, no worries. And he's like, oh yeah, did Paul say how much he was going to give them to you for? I said undisclosed price, and he was like, nah, no way, not that cheap. And I was like, look, I can show you the messages. And then I showed him the message, and he's like, look, I honestly would not believe you unless you showed me that message. That is way too cheap. And I said, yeah, Paul is an absolute legend. He always looks after me. And I actually ended up taking... Well, when Paul told me the price at first, I was like, that's too cheap. So I took in 10 Grishaki. Can't remember the subspecies. But if you know what, if you've been a long time channeler, a subscriber, you'll know what Grishaki are. Anyway, they were my dream fish for like 8 years, and it wasn't because of how pretty they are. It's because they're one of the first fish I tried to source, and I couldn't get them. Literally, like, I had a fish tank, mixed species, and I bought a colony, unbeknown much about fish. They were albino Grishaki, and then that was the first species that I bred in a sole tank. And then I was like, I want normal Grishaki. And little did I know they're like one of the hardest Mabuna to come by. Anyway, I got hold of them like 8 years later. But anyway, whenever I buy... So Paul sourced them for me, and he actually remembered over these years that I liked them. And he messaged me saying he got hold of a few. It was only a few. I only ever got one breeder female, and they bred, and then the boy killed her. So the ones I'm growing out now are actually my breeding stock. But I gave Paul 10, just because, like, when he sources a fish for me, I generally give him back some of the first fry, because it's just the right thing to do, I think. But anyway, besides that point, I bought the free fish in, and then Hans, if that's not his name, that's what we're calling him for now, he was like, yeah man, that's just way too cheap. And I was like, yeah, I bought the Grishaki in to try to offset that a bit. Like, I really know that he did give them to me cheaper than he should have. And then he's like, oh, how many are you taking? And I was like, well, I'm taking all of them. And he was like, are you going to share? And I was like, but I want them all. So I took all 10, but it got me thinking, these are rare fish, and if I lose all 10 and don't manage to breed them, I think that is selfish. So I'm considering giving at least a pair or a trio to a friend or subscriber or somebody I know who will seriously put in the effort to try and breed them. But obviously I'm going to have to try and figure out sexes before I go down that route. Let me know what you think of that anyway. And then so yeah, I got the fish cheap, and I got 10 of them, and I'm stoked. That was like a long-winded story, and I didn't even tell you the price. I don't know if I want to say the price, because people hear prices and it ruins the value of the fish if they hear that somebody got it for less than what it should be worth. I haven't said hello to anyone, I'm sorry. G'day G-Snap, g'day John, g'day Craig. I was going to say g'day Craig twice, but there's only one Craig in the chat at the minute. I have Darwin algae guppies. Yeah, the algae guppies, they're the biggest, eh? I've seen, I think. Or is that... Yeah. One of the native guppies is like half the size of a prawn, hey? Oh. Deep breaths, everyone. Deep breaths. I'm 90% sure I can get them, John, but how would I get them to you is the problem. I'm looking at TikTok while I'm live. That's a bad idea. So the problem with the new computer room, this room here, is hot. Hot like fire. North facing window, or is it northwest? Does the sunset straight west? Anyway, afternoon sun, it beats into this room. Mrs. loves it because it's the best lit room in the house. I don't like it because it's the hottest room in the house. Do you guys have a similar situation? Like, wife loves hot room. Husband hates hot room. Is that a thing? Craig's been looking at new cars. I saw a 2002 Club Sport R8 for sale just a second ago. And it's like, should I try to convince the missus to sell the G6 and get a Club Sport? They're about the same price. But I don't know. Club Sport's got like the bigger body kit on it, but the G6 is a little bit nicer in a way, I think. What do you reckon? G6E Turbo versus VY Club Sport. The problem with the Club Sport is you're pretty much guaranteed that it's been absolutely thrashed, whereas the G6 was one owner, like a 60-year-old engineer mechanic, and now a woman, a lady driver who doesn't even know what boost is, and then the occasional reckless driver. Man, I had the Starlet out last night, and XR5 Turbo takes this corner, and I was like, this guy's going for it. So I was like, well, I'm going to go for it. And then we were going, and like I was side by side with the XR5 Turbo. Can we just celebrate that for a second? I was in a Toyota Starlet keeping up with an XR5 Turbo. But anyway, I was like, he'll put the brake on before me. Like, he'll slow down. He didn't. I had to let out, and I was going very fast, very, very, very fast when I looked down. Like, scared the shit out of me. Like, what did I just do? Slow down. We're looking at the LDV. What's it? I'm gonna look it up. LDV T60. LDV T60. I've got trust issues with brands that I've never heard of. Well, I've heard of them, but like never. How much is the Isuzu? Oh. 65,000 second hand for a 2020. Alright. Isuzu is out of the picture. So it's an extra $25,000 for a car with 60,000 Ks on it. I didn't say, did I get a ticket? No, I didn't get a ticket. But so I procrastinated in the car park when leaving. So the cops were like less than 80 meters away from where I was parked, and like, so they were in the direction that I needed to head. So when I got to the fish shop, it was downhill. As soon as I saw the cops, I popped neutral and rolled down the hill. But I had to go back up the hill to get out. So I ended up going the other way. Did like a 10-minute detour. Turns out there's not a good little circle going the other way. So then I went around and I ended up driving past the cops, but maybe like 400 meters away. But like Morley Aquariums, from my house to Morley is like straight through the city, through the hustle and bustle of like Northbridge and that. I don't know why I took the car. Like, we've got 3 registered, perfectly working cars, and I take the most heavily modified. Just pretty funny. I was literally halfway there. If you know Perth, I was coming up to Charles Street off the freeway, and then there's actually a longer way to Morley, but it's all around the highways around the city. And and I got to Charles Street and I was like, why the hell did I go this way? There's a street called Beaumont Street. I think it's like Leadable or some shit. And like it's like the basically like cops on foot, like your CBD cafe kind of area. And I was just like, this is the dumbest decision I made in my life. I've always said I don't want to drive it at night. What's my hair doing? It's a bit better. So hit that like button. Cheers, Craig. So I've got the Vieja Argenta. I just really doubt my pronunciation here, but I've got the Vieja Argenta in, if I go here, I'll look it up. I'll look up the spelling. So I've got them in the inside tank, but I don't want to leave them there. Does that make sense? My worry is that tank fish have not been doing well, i.e. Richard hated that tank. I don't know if he hated or whether he got sick. He still doesn't look right. But anyway, what was my point? Oh yeah, so I want to breed these fish. They're super cool. They're super less common. But I don't think they're really rare anymore. They're just less common. But I just don't think the inside tank's going to do it. And also I was thinking about selling the inside tank. And also now I've put a heater back in there. I need to get rid of the red, blue, green light. Because now we've got a silver, white fish in there. And I've got a red light shining on it. Cars are so pricey. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely genogulous. That's not a word. Can you type pronunciation? Oh, it's Argentina. Vieja Argentina. How is my pronunciation? Sorry about the nose wipes. It's dripping. I should really bought some tissues to the live. It's a Chinese car. Aren't they all Chinese now? I don't really care about a better car. I care about a fun car, I think. I don't know. In saying that, pretty much all the cars that I have are ridiculously priced. 80 series Land Cruiser, they've probably started to drop now, but they were between $28,000 and $30,000 for a 1992 vehicle. I considered selling it, but it's just such a great car. G6E Turbo, 2008. They're selling for 30 grand. We paid 16 or something, and I've never seen one for sale with as low Ks as ours. And then, I guess, kind of the craziest one, but even the lowest money, the Toyota Starlet. Like, my Starlet, I could sell that for probably $7,000 tomorrow. One of my friends is telling me to advertise it for $8,000. Granted, it's turbo and all that, but Starlets used to be like a $400 car. Viha argenta is the valid name for this fish after it stopped being called, I don't know how to say that. I want to read some information to you guys. Cycladmoma or something. What's cycladmoma? Cyclosoma? What fish are they? Oh, pardon me. Mayan cichlid and the Slavani. Interesting. They used to be in that category. Maybe one of my friends says to drop the temperature to like 23, 24 and grow them. Get them through those teenage bits, and then when they get a bit older, then bring the temperature up to breed them. Let's screen share. Alright, so I want to find look at this, 2017 breeding group, 3 female 1 male, 1600. There's not much forum information on them, is there? Is this literally... herbivores? That's interesting. I didn't know that. An aggressive species. No, who would have thought? Lots of territory. Bonded pair will often live together. I've got to try and sex them. I can already pick 2 males. The challenge is getting a pair to coexist in the same tank. That just sounds like flower horns. But I guess flower horns are bred from Viha. I think it's just going to be like trying to breed the flower horns, but maybe just a bit more aggressive, harder to pair. I don't know. I've never bred Viha. I've only bred... What Americans have I bred? I bred Jags. Well, I think that's it, guys. Jags and flower horns. Oh, a peacock bass. I'm trying to think of what fish I've lifted a plate up, you know. I've bred a couple of dwarf Americans, but there was the big Americans. I think I've only bred them like flower horns and Jags. Now I've got Dovi, I've got Viha. I'm calling them crossbreed. So I think I said in a video I brought Synspillum. They were advertised as pure Synspillum. I had my doubts. My doubts were well lived. Alright, so it's got to be another mobile phone in the camera. kind of thing. Uh-oh. I made my head too big. What have I done? Transition. Alright, so took me that long to transition. So this is one of the oh no. Where did it go? There it is, there it is. You come here. Turns out I'm not very good at holding a phone. Oh my god. This is one of the Viha Synspillum that I bought. Now you can't tell me that that's not got black belt in it. So if you're not from Australia, I know there's a couple of people that watch that aren't. Basically, all Viha in Australia are crossbred. There's people claiming they've got pure Hartwigi at the moment. I wouldn't believe it as far as I could throw the fish tank that they live in. But it seems like the Argenta, is that how you say it? Argentia are one of the only purebreds that I know of in Australia, and I can understand why. Like, they look so different to other Viha, so I could see why they wouldn't get crossbred as much as the others. $25 for a Pajero. I didn't know that was a thing. It says they get big too. Where's size? Sexual stuff. 30 centimeters. Oh yeah, so like obviously 10 won't live together because they'll kill each other, and they also would get way too big for the tank they're in. I was thinking about taking the soil out of there and putting a white gravel in there as well. Craig says he's sick of the same old fish. I think that's kind of why I've sold a few of the Africans and like trying something new. I don't know, I'm excited to breed a few Americans, which I never thought I would say. It's definitely not. None of these links have got anything saying about breeding. I don't know. This one's saying feed them bloodworms. That's not a herbivore diet. Breeding should be quite easy with this species. Are these people crazy? You got to get them to live together before you can get them to breed together. Make sure the female is not being bullied. How do you do that? So this is saying if they don't get along, separate the pair for a few days. So it sounds exactly the same as breeding flower horns. I guess it, like with flower horns you get 1,000 eggs and then you cull most of them, sell a few. with Argenta, you're just going to end up with 1,000 babies that don't need culling. Maybe I'll leave the aqua soil in there. It says pH 6.6 to 7. They might thrive in that tank. Who knows? Mine's on top chat too, G-Snap. It's quite annoying. That's really annoying. I don't know why it does that. Sold a male red Texas for $200. I've never seen many good male red or any red Texas. I think I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I honestly feel like crap, and I'm putting on a brave face for the channel. I'm just on a bit of a streak at the moment, so I'm trying to keep it up. I haven't got a video for tomorrow, but but anyway, I just want to show you something quickly. I think I put I got the adapter to put the Milwaukee battery on the vacuum. And on that note, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Where's the button? Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. Peace out.